Good day, everybody. Welcome to another What's Up Wednesday. Big topic tonight. My van turns 3 years old 1 month ago, and we're going to talk about that at large tonight. Just want to welcome you to another What's Up Wednesday. Just a delight to have you here. I am live from Lost Dutchman State Park in Apache Junction, Arizona, coming at you live. I have 2,500 lumens on my face, and it's barely enough to keep up. But I am glad you're here. Really, really appreciate that. We're going to see if this works and if I don't get creamed by the bugs. It's going to be kind of exciting. As always, live YouTube TV. Pretty cool. Welcome to episode 42 of our weekly RV van life show. What we try and do here is help you be a better RVer, whether you're no time, part time, or still researching, which is great. Let me zoom in here for you. You can clearly see by the background, that is not a virtual background, ladies and gentlemen. I am at Lost Dutchman State Park. It's about 45 minutes east of Phoenix, and it's one of the best state parks I've ever stayed in. Really well managed, and it's $35 a night for full hookup, $25 a night for dry camping, which has no hookups. Sewer is accomplished by a dump station, has two stations at the dump site with probably the best view of a dump station in America. I'm not kidding. Let's look at the gas in the area. Pretty small spread, 53 cents in the Apache Junction area, pretty plentiful. 336 a gallon up to 389. 350 seems to be about the average. And if you look to the right of that, that is house prices in the Apache Junction area. And you can get some bare land for a few $100,000, and you can spend a gazillion dollars on a mansion. But Lord have mercy, look at this view you would have. I'm telling you, I can't take my eyes off of this mountain, and it's everything I can do to put this show together today and do this because I just want to stare at this mountain. It's the most incredible thing. I'm curious, as always, where are you watching from, and have you been to Lost Dutchman State Park? Here's some pictures I've taken during my stay here. I've been for a few days. That's the mountain at dusk, so the sun is setting in the west, illuminating the mountain. That was my first night campsite. Just love the saguaro cactus. So cool. And then this is my campsite currently. This is my nighttime view with my Goal Zero lights over my table, and then the awning out a little bit, and then my running board light. The view on the right, that was yesterday morning. I had to leave pretty early for some Volta duties, and that is the moon shining with the sun coming up in the pink in the eastern horizon. And I just got to tell you, it's just one of the most incredible things about van life, about RVing, is seeing these bits of nature in action, not through your window of your house, so removed, but actually being in it, smelling it, hearing it, sometimes tasting it, and that includes bugs. And it's just the most amazing experience. But I'm very curious, where in the world are you watching from? We've got a lot of folks in the house tonight, and which is just so great to see. We've got questions rolling in already. We got Godly, Texas, Ron from New York. Apparently it's been raining somewhere. This is pretty funny. Mason Mike is just down the road. Maybe he's going to photobomb me. I don't know. And here's Batavia, Ohio. Welcome. Really appreciate that. And let's see, Oregon. Yeah, I just rolled out of Oregon. What a great place. The temperature has been great. It's about 82 during the day, in the low 60s, maybe high 59, 58 degrees at night, which is perfect RVing weather in my book. It's warm during the day. It cools off at night. You don't need AC. Might even need the extra blanket. Might even need some heat. But it's just really a great thing. Kind of a cool show for you tonight. So no guests. You got little old me. We do our question of the week, which is our topic at 15 after the hour. We're doing our news headlines. This is a big announcement from Volta. This is a big deal. They're entering a whole new market in the RV space. I'm so proud of them. Got a recommendation of the week, song pet pick of the week. Oops, let me get the organ off the screen here. Hold on, please. There we go. Hi, Laura. Next week, we got upcoming guests. I'm really excited. This is Ron and Rhonda. They went full time in a 2022 Coachman Nova just about, I'm going to guess, about 2 months ago. And then in December, we've got Roger and Jane out of Illinois, part-timing in a 2021 Travato GL. Discovery is the name of their van. And then later in December, we've got Off-Highway Vans. They're going to be talking about their limited slip differential product and van lifts. Had my van lifted, and I just love it. It's so great. What else we got on here? Channel events. Holy cow, working overtime for you guys. We have a roundup tomorrow. If you're in the Phoenix area, Mesa, Arizona is where we're going to do this. Let me zoom in for you so you can see that. It's at 10 in the morning, I think. Tomorrow, Thursday, November 4 in Mesa, Arizona at Bass Pro Shops. I've driven by it a few times in my trip here so far. And the big deal is, hey, we got Vanborees. Yes. This weekend, starting on November 6th, we got a Vanboree, which is what I call a camp out, just a little outside of Tucson in Wilcox, Arizona. I think there's a space left for that. The next camp out is in a week later, basically, and that's in Dallas Fort Worth in Arlington. And I am thrilled to say that that is basically sold out. Trying to keep this limited so we can keep everybody accommodated. And when we're caravanning, having more than 5 or 6 vans really gets to be a challenge, let me tell you. Although it's a ton of fun. And we have a camp out coming up that's not live yet that I'm scheduling for December in Las Vegas. A lot more of those things to come because I just love interacting with you. To me, that's what it's all about. It's not so much about subscribers and watch time minutes. It's about meeting you, helping you achieve your dreams. So if you are into van tours, places, van tips. And if this whole thing is new to you, my name is Scott. So welcome to Go Small, Live Large. If those topics are of interest to you, please subscribe to the channel. It would be an honor to have you there for sure. And this is the kind of content we share, is just to help you be a better RVer. So really excited about that. And I think that was it. Oh, yes, one more thing. Holy cow. This video is actually done pretty good. My RV storage tips, you got a little sneak peek at my van life bar. Some cool tips for repurposing packaging in particular, and that was pretty well received by folks. And of course, it's all about your live Q&A. So we've got some great questions coming in tonight. So let's take a look at some of those. And hey, Beyond Attention in the house, Sandy and Chris from Ohio. Thanks for being here. This is the format we like to use on the questions so I can more readily find them. And if anybody can guess where I am in regards to my van, somebody can put that in the comments. That would be a really great test. For some of you that kind of know what we're doing, you know exactly where I'm standing, what the laptop is sitting on. It's pretty funny. First time trying this with the light in particular, so I hope this works. And let's see, I saw a good question. So Mason Mike wants to know, how do you like Lost Dutchman Campground? I really love it. It's really pretty amazing place. I don't like this particular camp loop that I'm in. I'm going to show you something a little bit later in the program that I think you will like and I would recommend. This one, I'm in the middle of a circular loop, so I got to look at a lot of RVs. Strangely, this RV is, well, you can't see it, which is fine, parked way off center of his campsite. So this allows me and you to see the mountain, not the RV. So Steve wants to know, when is Terry coming on from Embassy RV again? We have a date in November. I should have that handy. I don't. Watch for that very soon. We're doing another exclusive Embassy YouTube live around that, and we got big stuff on the Project Black Bear coming up that should be live next week. We kind of hurried out of the gate. Now we're playing catch up. So stay tuned, and really appreciate you asking about that, Steve. And if you don't know, again, if you're kind of new to the crowd here, Embassy is my paid partner on the Embassy Envoy. Just love sharing Embassy RV's innovation, and they just keep coming out of the woodwork with the crazy ideas, and that's why I just love sharing. So thanks for asking, Steve. We'll post that soon on the Embassy RV page on my website, GoSmallLiveLarge.com. So John's got a good question, kind of in relation to the. So this is kind of funny. If I go out here, I've got sun on me, then I got a dark spot, and then I'm literally 12 inches from my 2,500 lumen light, which is not enough to overcome. I might have to get 2 of them. Oh my God, 5,000 lumens. Why not drive until the wheels fall off? I kind of plan to do it, to be honest with you. Why? I just can't find anything out there that meets my needs. Call me crazy. I just love this floor plan every time I get into it. So that is the plan. I'm kind of giving away the punchline early in the program, but we're going to talk in detail on how the van is performing, how the build out from Winnebago is performing, how Volta is performing, what problems have I had, what have I had to replace, and I'm pretty happy to report it's such a small list. It's really pretty amazing. Hey, we got Jersey in the house. Sparks Guy, thanks for joining us. Appreciate that. Michigan. So Mason Mike's saying he's got the same view of the. This is Superstition Mountain, by the way, and this whole area has a lot of history surrounded by it, and it's just Apache Junction. It's just a cute little town, so great. So Franken, let's see, good question here. So I just skipped that. Sorry. So we've got Canada in the house. I cannot wait to get to Canada. So my route plan, after I leave Florida home base in February, is to go up the East Coast as it thaws and get into at least the Newfoundland and Toronto area of Canada. I'm super excited. I hope all the COVID stuff goes away and that can be done in normal manners. Donna's saying she's been to Lost Dutchman. It's a pretty special place, right? Oh my God, it's just so amazing. So here's a question right here. So Rod wants to know, what are the most small RV unfriendly states or areas for van life in your experience? The lady is, I'm not sure what she's doing. Let's cover her up. Um, it's a good question. I think it comes on a couple different points. So in my mind, traveling around, hit, I don't know what I'm on now, about 39, 40 states. She's really giving that dog a grooming, isn't she? That's kind of funny. How can I get in her way so you guys don't have to see that? um, Live TV, ladies and gentlemen. I think it needs to be van friendly. Can I stay on the street? I think you need to have RV resources, dump stations, water fill. I think you need to have people that like tourists. If tourists and RVers in particular are seen as trespassers, those are pretty unfriendly conditions, in my opinion. High gas prices, just experienced California, not a huge fan of that. So, and small RV maybe is a key thing here. So we're going to stick with vans, right? And maybe B pluses. Um, I think Michigan, weirdly, was pretty RV unfriendly to vans to overnight in city areas. Why? Because I think the law was aimed at residents. They cannot park, you cannot park a vehicle on many of the city streets in a lot of the towns, small and large, that I experienced in Michigan this past late spring, early summer, from like 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. Now, why would a municipality pass a law saying you can't park a vehicle on the street from 2 a.m. to 6 a.m.? That's to keep residents from having junker cars parked on streets and never moved. It makes your community look trashy. I totally agree with it. In the sense that it makes your community look trashy. So maybe there can be a couple days where somebody can go around and say, "Hey, this has been sitting on the street for 5 days, and you need to move it. You get a ticket if you don't." But because it applies to any car, any vehicle on the street all the time, all the day, every day of the week, regardless of your residency status, if I'm on the street, I'm going to either get a knock or a ticket, probably a ticket first. And I know this because in our village of Forest Park, where we used to live outside of Chicago, they had the same rule: no parking on the street anywhere in the village. Oak Park, same deal. All the villages, a lot of times, 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. Actually, it was 2 to 5 a.m. Why? To keep the residents from having the streets filled with cars. So that's pretty unfriendly to me. I can't stay on the street, which relegates me to finding a place to stay. In the city lots, in Traverse City in particular, you couldn't even stay the night in a city lot. So to me, that's kind of van life unfriendly. Gasoline in California was super expensive, by at least $1, $1.50 compared to everybody else. That's pretty unfriendly. When you get 10 gallons of gas and it costs you $50, and my van takes 24 gallons. And just tourist friendly. If they kind of welcome guests or not, those are. I haven't really seen too many places that are not friendly in that regard. But usually it's the parking, the gas, or services for RVs. And our state park's in good shape. This state park is really well managed. So awesome question. Curious what people think of that. Michigan sticks out in my mind because every small town I went, every big town I went, had that no parking overnight situation. And by the way, Walmarts largely are not eligible to park overnight anymore, which is pretty crazy. Great question. Okay, so we are coming up on our topic of the night, and Spokane Steve's got watching his 22GL. Congratulations! Wrap up the last bits of Coach Electrical and Electronics mods. In the driveway, streaming with you in T-Mobile. Now that's a trooper. In his driveway of his house. See, that's what the van does to you, right? It just changes your perspective. I love it. Congratulations, Steve. I'm so excited to see you and learn about the mods you've been doing. So let's answer this question. And At least it didn't block our view, right? So Matt wants to know, how far in advance do you typically plan booking your next location for an overnight stay? Awesome question. I think it depends on what type of property am I looking at. If it is a Harvest Host property, which now includes Boondocker Welcome private property, so Harvest Host commercial or Boondocker Welcome, all one thing now, private property, I would say anywhere from a few days to a week. If it's a campground, like I booked this campground I'm going to say about 5 weeks ago, because I knew I was going to be in town doing Volta duties, doing Volta brand business, and I wanted to stay at this park. And that's one reason I'm in the spot I'm in, is because it's really busy. Um, and they so anywhere from, I'd say, a few days to a few weeks is what I'm doing here currently. I'm headed to Texas. I'm going to book the um, oh gosh, the state campground there outside Dallas. What's the name of it? Cedar Hills. Because the state parks are really full, really, really full. There's a huge flood. Oh my god! And I am meticulous on my route planning now because of my brand duties. Because I just need to be that way. Some of you on vacation can be a little more freewheeling, but I need to be specific places at specific times, Vanbury's, meetups, things like that. So that's what I'm doing. So I fill in the KOA campground, which I'm a few days out, maybe a week, or the state campgrounds a few weeks out with Boondocker's Welcome and Harvest Host. All now one thing, Harvest Host, which is usually a few days. And worst case, I just do a Cracker Barrel for a night, and that's okay. Great question. All right, it's 16 after the hour. This is my neighbors next to me. Maybe that's fine. It's really cute. They got a little kid with them, 6 years old, Alex. He's totally into camping. He thinks I'm a cowboy. I am. Duh. All right, so let's shift gears here, and this kind of comes up. I'm going to zoom in here for you. The question of the night, and it's really hard to read here. It's kind of small. I apologize, but the punchline is from Town and Country Furniture in Hamburg, New York. There's a little shout out to Town and Country Furniture. If you're looking for a new sofa, Hamburg, New York, hit up Town and Country. Wants to know, if you had to buy new today, would you purchase the same platform, as he calls it? They're considering an ambulance conversion. Um, because I'm self-employed in small furniture, I have a little time to do execution on that idea. Any thoughts you offer are greatly appreciated, Roger. So, Roger, I'm going to do my best to answer this tonight in regards to the platform. I probably will do a separate video about this. I wanted to get this kind of collectively on the air. So let's talk about this question. I get asked about a lot, and I'll be honest, at 3 years of being in this rig full time, I have put this system to the test, ladies and gentlemen. So let me run through some of the numbers with you. It's pretty staggering. So on the chassis, I'm going to zoom out here for us, so zoom in here so you can see this. So I currently have 81,400 miles on the Ram ProMaster engine and everything associated. At 60,000 miles, I put on new brakes. Now I will put a caveat in here. I caught a rock somewhere in, oh my gosh, where was it? Just coming out of Bartlett, California, when I was finishing Route 66. Many more Route 66 videos coming. Stay patient with me on that. And I got a rock caught between the caliper and the what do you call it? The disc. And I chewed up. It finally went away, but I had a serious problem. I saw it was a little squeak, but overall they're still good. So I replaced the original brakes at 60,000 miles, 20,000 on the current. I had a cylinder head rebuild at 49,000 miles. I'm on my second tire pressure monitoring system. The first one went out at 35,000 miles. We don't know why. It was the circuit breaker box thing inside that monitors the wheels. That's what's failed twice now. I haven't replaced it the second time yet. 20,000 at 20,000 miles, I put new tires and wheels on it, and I've had my second set of K02 tires by BF Goodrich. I love these tires. I need to get them rotated, but if you're looking for an amazing tire experience, slightly noisy, but a way better bite, a way better grip, and a way more confidence to take you where you want to go, those tires I would recommend in a minute. And my mileage has stayed really consistent. 12 in the city, 15, 18 on the highway. Any headwind, any incline, the vehicle downshifts to fifth gear. I run fifth gear across Tennessee, Kentucky, Montana, California. It's just the way it rolls. So right in there, you get about 15 miles per gallon. So the chassis has really performed really well. I change the oil pretty regular. I check the air in the tires really regular. Other than that, it needs an automatic transmission flush. But overall, it's performed pretty admirably. Next, the exterior. Let's talk about that. Oh my gosh. So the exterior, my van is a 2019 Winnebago Travato GL. Um, it's standard in all the ways, except I wrapped it. That's what the brown is. I put on a silhouette in black. If I get tired of my inner cowboy, I can peel off the black, put on Ninja, and um, and have a new look. I lifted the van through at Off Highway Vans in Salt Lake City. Cost $3,000. The wrap was $5,000. The best $8,000 I've spent maybe in my entire adulthood. The windows continue to perform really, really well. I just love my windows. They do have a little bit of scratching on them now. Nothing that's really obnoxious. The bedroom window did leak. We discovered that, and I've had a roof leak a couple of times. Not really out of the ordinary, but nonetheless a little nuisance. They've been really good for the last year on the ceiling and almost 2 years on the windows. Doors are functioning fine. I grease the doors on a regular basis. The bike rack, though, curiously, is doing well. I've had a couple plastic pieces break, and now I can't do the internal thumb screw, I can't slide the trays together. So they're always extended, which is kind of a hassle. So the exterior is holding up really, the wrap is holding up really, really well. I had one little bubble, actually it's a pretty big bubble. I replaced it, fortunately, when I was back at home base over the holidays. But the exterior is really holding up really, really well. Let's talk about the great room. This, I think some of you will find curious. So the cab seats still spin with great ease. In fact, they're getting easier as I use them. I spin them around all the time. The upholstery, even with living with a cat for a year and a half in here, is really stunning and great shape. I need to give it a really good cleaning with a firm brush. That it definitely needs. That is on me. The cushion density, somebody had asked me about that, and that is an amazing question because after sitting in this van, in that seat, for hours and hours and hours and hours, and really adds up to months of sitting time, the cushion density is, I would say, 85% of what it was as new. I am still stunned at how great the cushion density is on this. But what I want to point out here is, let me zoom in here and have you look to the little inset picture. This is the jump seat that covers the step going up into the great room, as I call it. And what I want you to look at is the dark marking on the corner there. What you're looking at is the scuffing of the ultra leather. I am not overly gentle. I wear cowboy boots, which are kind of big and clunky and clumsy in this really tight space. And I'm telling you, that is the only real scuffing of the ultra leather in the entire upholstery arena. It just astounds me at how sturdy that stuff is. Going on to the great room, the electronics, everything works as it has from day one. I am still pretty much amazed. I swing that TV off and on its hinge really firm because I have stuff back there I store all the time. Everything is performing just as the day I picked up the van in that regard. Floor squeaks. Now there's one that actually has a squeak. It's right when I enter the van, just past the threshold, there is a squeak where your foot hits. They use plywood, I'm pretty sure. They don't use the cool stuff that Embassy uses. So over time, that will certainly get compressed, and it just doesn't hold. There is a little tiny squeak, not overly annoying. There's also a squeak back by the bathroom. I think it's kind of the same thing because your foot hits the same spot over and over, and there again, it compresses, and there's a little tiny squeak there. The other thing I just love about this floor plan, you know it, and some of you want it, is I can make this into a second bed. What that means is when my partner Kyle travels with me, he sleeps in the back, I sleep up front, so I can sleep up to 4 people in this van. And I love, 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 love my great room. The table is in perfect condition still. It's just the most amazing thing. Moving along. The galley. Look at this. The sink performing exactly as it did the day I picked it up. Cooktop, same. Water pump. What's that doing in here? Yeah, I had to replace the water pump just at the end of Route 66 in Barstow, California. Why? It wasn't putting enough pressure in the lines to keep it pressurized. I thought for sure that the water in the tanks had gotten cold, and and the lines were contracting, and it would spin just a 1, 2, 3, 4 seconds to pressurize it again to hold the pressure constant. And what happened is over time there was no leaks because I checked everywhere, and it wasn't in a consistent manner indicating a leak. But what it did is it just that length of time it would run to pressurize again. It just couldn't hold pressure, I think was the bottom line. I thank you, Bug. I replaced the pump. It cost me $100 for the actual pump, and I did have somebody come out and do that. I'll be transparent about that because I didn't know the first place to start, and I learned from the $200 repair bill. I got it done in 2 hours. I was doing Route 66. I didn't have any time to really deal with it. I didn't want to deal with it for $300. I learned a lot from that experience, and want to know what the hardest thing about that job was? Getting the damn bottom drawer off the hinges, off the rails. I could not figure it out. I'm sure there's a YouTube video about it. You'd think a YouTuber would watch YouTube. Don't got time for it. So I learned a lot, but that was water pump replaced after how many thousands of gallons have I pumped through that thing? Oh my gosh. The fridge, ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you, let me zoom in here for you again. The fridge is probably the best performing appliance in the van, and I am not kidding. That NovaCool fridge is stocked with food. The freezer is stocked with food day in, day out for 3 years of ownership. It's been off about 20 days total. That compressor has been running, keeping that food fresh and cold for 3 years without a heartbeat, and it keeps the temperature. The compressor runs as expected. I would buy NovaCool in a second. It's just been the best performing. The cabinetry, I have no issues. None of the laminates peeling off. I'm really, really impressed with the galley. Let's talk about the bathroom. Bathroom is one of my sweet spots in this van. It's one of the reasons I bought it. Sink performing perfectly. I did replace the sink from the plastic stuff that Winnebago installed, and I love my new sink and shower contraption. You can see the shower head there. It's such a much more residential shower experience. The toilet, still, I'm going one. I'm going two. I use it probably, 5 to 8 times a day. How many times do I push that plunger to fill the bowl, empty the thing, the valve closes? I mean, do the math. 365 times 3 times 10 times a day. What is that? And it still runs like the day I picked it up. It's just the most Thetford toilet. Thank you, porcelain. The shower we talked about, I did switch that out. I really do love that a lot more. The shower drain, I don't have the thing here. I should have brought it. I'm actually going to do a retraction on my recommendation on the shower drain. So Winnebago had this goofy thing. We kind of fixed that. And then I bought the 3D printed one. Remember, we did some recommendations on that. I've been experimenting, and it really doesn't do the trick quite as well as the Winnebago big round thing with a piece of cheesecloth over it. What I've discovered is the holes were too thin to let enough water through, but it let too much grit through, and it plugged up the secondary filter after about 2 or 3 showers, whereas the big Winnebago white drain cover with a piece of cheesecloth over it, I can go 10 showers without having to clean that thing. So I'm going to retract that. We'll do a video about that, give you an update on that. Floor mat, I've done some revisions to that by putting in cushioned feet. It's a much better foot feel, and that thing is just bulletproof as well. It looks like it's been used. Let me tell you, if you want squeaky clean shower mats, you do not want to take a look at mine because they look like somebody's been using. I shower my van probably 2 to 3 times a week, and I do the math on that. 52 weeks times 3, that's 150 weeks times 2 or 3 showers. That is hundreds of showers, right? It's pretty crazy to think about. Bathroom performing flawlessly, the door performing flawlessly. It just still stuns me as I even talk about it right now. The bedroom. Let's talk about the bedroom quick. Let me zoom in here for you. How do you like my Vanity Fair Instagram spread there for you, right? The Murphy bed. It moves up and down on a big hinge. There's a little tiny squeak. I'm trying to find it to put a little bit of WD-40 on. There's a little tiny squeak on one area of the hinge where it lays up and down. But the Murphy bed, solid as a rock. The Froley little, spring cushiony things that holds up like a box spring, perfect. None of them have come off. They're still in the same spot when they came out of the factory. This is kind of interesting. The size of the bed is perfect for one, cozy for two, unless you have sleep issues, in which case the second bed becomes super, super important. So we've learned how to deal with the size of the bed. I personally love it. I'm in one of two places, up against the bathroom wall or up against the window wall. And if you have a G floor plan, you know that the window wall, the thing's about, my fence, you can't even see them. I know it's about what, 18, maybe 20 inches wide. I somehow am practicing for my coffin because I love sleeping on that little sliver of a piece of the mattress. It's pretty crazy. Let's talk about the mattress comfort. Now, this is kind of interesting. It's a firm mattress to start with, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be honest. I like a firm mattress, so it's worked perfectly for me. I will say, in the fold point of the mattress, because I got the bottom third folds up so that the Murphy bed can sit straight up and down. There is getting to be a soft spot where my butt sits, because that's where I like to sleep the most often. It's kind of in that crevice. And the wrapping around the mattress has kind of shifted just a little bit. But I've been sleeping in this bed for 2.5 years every night, with very few exceptions. And I think it's done pretty amazing. Cabinetry is still like the day I picked it up. All the blinds like the day I picked it up. Awning windows like the day I picked it up. And look at that view, will you? Right? That is a priceless view out of any bedroom window. It cost me $35 a night. Really quickly, hallway storage. Let me zoom in here for you. It still amazes me how much stuff I can cram into the back of this under the bed. That's called garage storage for some of you that are new to the program. And there you can see my grill, my water tank, my boots, my chair, all under the bed with the bed down. And it's the perfect amount of storage. I have access to my stuff, even in the cabinets. I can move that around a little bit. The utility closet's still performing like the day I picked it up, except the vinyl paper's come off where the command hooks have pulled the vinyl off the plywood. It's okay, it just looks like it's been used, right? But I just love the size. And let's talk about Volta. This is a biggie. So we're being super transparent for you here. Volta is such a game changer. I said this way before I become involved with them as a brand ambassador. When I was in Michigan, my system was plugged into their home computer there in Holland, Michigan, at the Volta headquarters. At that time in May, 2.7 million watts of electricity had flowed through my system. I'll say we can probably round that up to 3 million now. And what's fascinating is that the battery itself has a 2,000 theoretical life cycle peak performance limit, meaning that complete discharge, complete charge equals 1 cycle. Living in my van for 2.5 years, I am only at 40% of that theoretical 2,000 life cycle on the battery. Does that mean the battery stops working when you hit 2,000? Nope. It just charges a little bit less, just charges a little slower. Some little things there, just like your cell phone, right? But living in the van 24/7, 2.5 years, I am at only 40% of that life cycle. They were pretty stunned by that. Even more fascinating is those energy cells are less than 1% off factory fresh specs. They were stunned at that. Now, being transparent, I will tell you that I had a wire harness issue, original equipment. I was driving and it wasn't charging. What's up? Fortunately, I was doing a training with a good RV dealer in Prescott, Arizona, Affinity RV. Super awesome team. Called Volta, explained what was going on. They sent a new wire harness for me, which has been replaced. And they also offered to upgrade my alternator. Mine was a 120 amp alternator. The What I got was a 160 amp, which comes on all the Volta systems for the last couple of years. Mine was a very early system, and just because of my duties, the reason they shipped that to me is that they wanted me to show what a current production model would put out when I'm driving and when I'm doing a auto start or charge on demand session. And with that new 160 amp, when I'm driving 2,500 RPMs, which is about 70 miles an hour. Are you ready for this? It's about 8 to 9,000 watts being generated by that alternator going into the battery pack. What's that mean? I can charge my battery in less than probably 30, 45 minutes if I'm at 40% city charge or more. It's stunning. Those of you with new Volta systems, you don't know what the old system was like. So thank you, Volta. Just because of a special arrangement, because I work with them and they want me to showcase the best. And the wire harness, I want to be transparent about that. The Volta system has performed admirably as expected, and I've got many years to go on that. Are you surprised by that? I love my Volta system. It's such a game changer. I think there's one more slide, and yes. So we come to the conclusion. Would I buy it again? Would I recommend it? It's kind of a yes, no, maybe. And I'm sorry to be squishy about this, and I'm gone on way too long about this, but it's super important to me because this van, this floor plan, and the systems in it have performed so well. I would go buy a Travato GL again, with the caveat that I would revert back to the older floor plan. That may upset some of you that have the newer ones, but I know the functionality that this floor plan provides for me hits my spots exactly. There's not another van on the market like it, strangely. So I would actually be out looking for a National Park edition. Now, I do have my antenna up for some vans. I'm talking to the non-big brand builders these days, and I'm really getting intrigued by some of the stuff they're doing. So, would I buy the brand new GL? Probably not, because the floor plan doesn't meet my needs anymore. But I use one absolutely in a minute, and I have my antenna up for what's next around the corner because I think there's some real innovation coming to the van space. We're starting to see that. Some of the experimentation is a little odd, like they don't come with toilets at all and showers. I'm kind of like, that wouldn't work for me at all. But nonetheless, um, I would definitely put Winnebago on my list. Embassy RV, going like, what about Embassy? They have a very cool system. They have a very, very cool system. Floor plan, boys and girls. It's all about floor plan and how that enables your why you want to RV. And if Terry would build me a G with a Volta system, things might change. Would I recommend a Travato for you? It has got to be at the top of your list in the top five. If you're not considering a Travato, either a K, which is the twin bed model, or the G, and give a really close look at the G, I think you're shortchanging yourself. I didn't even know what the G was. My journey started with a Revel, then a Paseo, and then the Travato G is what I landed on. And I looked at all of them back then, back in 2018. So if you don't have Winnebago on your list for vans, they're the best selling for a reason. This thing is so bulletproof. I know every van, there's a horror story for everything. And they're not, and they're true, right? They're building as fast as they can. But this van has been so good to me. I have to recommend it for you. So hopefully that helps on the van. I would really kind of got a little passion on that for you, but I just got to tell you, this thing has been a life changer in so many ways. I just love this van. It's so great. Okay, now this light's kind of working. All right, so we got to have some questions in here. Um, what do you think? Would you buy your van again? Um, and let's see. Oh my gosh. And or are you looking to upgrade or downgrade in terms of size? I'm just curious. Looking for the question I just saw. Stand by, please. There's Matt's question on the scheduling. So Mason Mike says you were hanging at the back of the van using the bed for a desk. Yes, it's a little tall. This is kind of better back here, right? So I'm sorry my face is so big tonight. But look at that view, though. Isn't that just stunning? I can't get enough of staring at that mountain. Um, the laptop on the toilet. Nope, this is not a K, sir. That's why I don't have a K. Number one, I'm always in my bedroom. Prefer to be in 4 rooms in my G floor plan. And but if I had a K floor plan, the laptop would be on the commode. You were exactly right. Instead, it's on my bed. So awesome. Great question. Um, this is an interesting question. Nobody's ever asked me this before. And there's a YouTube channel with a very similar name, and I did not copy them. I think theirs is Go Tiny Live Big or something like that. They're out of Florida. I'm sure they got super annoyed when I popped up on the scene. The way the channel name came up was all about the van to allow me to do really big and crazy things, go places I wouldn't normally go in a traditional RV. I was talking to a colleague of mine at Apple. We had both left Apple but stayed in touch, and I was telling him what I was doing. He was kind of doing the RV thing on a boat. Don was his first name. I can't think of his last name. Wouldn't matter anyway. And I was kind of telling him why I was doing a van and what I expected to do and thinking about doing YouTube. And he said, call it Go Small, Live Large. I'm like, how much do I owe you for that? So my colleague Don from Apple is what actually named the channel, and it just fits so perfectly. There's a few variations. Like I said, there's a channel very similarly named. I think they were on the scene long before that. Maybe he knew of them. I don't know. I didn't even know what YouTube was before I got rolling on this thing, so it's pretty crazy. Great question. And it's been so true. A lot of people use their name for the name of the channel. That's okay. But for me, it's about the journey. This really isn't about me. I share what I know. We learn together. We share together. You decide what's best for you. I don't know everything. That is obvious every day of the week. It's pretty crazy. Larry from Simi Valley. Yeah, it's a great view, right, dude? I wish you guys were here. In fact, we got to pick a date for this. We're going to do a channel camp out on BLM land on US 95 South, about 30 miles south of, um, oh, crumb, what is it? Not Searchlight. It'll come to me in a second. Needles, California. Has a kind of a similar, not nearly as cool as this, but I've got it all scoped out, and we're going to do that. Spark's got a question here. I'm a little behind on my RV news, so hang tight. I did too much talking on the van. 3 years old. Can you believe that? This whole thing's been going on for 3 years. It literally feels like I just got started. Thank you, exiting corporate world. That made a huge difference. Now 60 days past that now. As of today, November 3, September 3 is my last day at corporate America. Mason Mike just left his day job, so I'm super excited to connect with you, sir, at the camp out, maybe in the roundup tomorrow morning, right? But anyway, so Sparks Guy wants to know, when you lifted the van, did you add new Fox or Blitzen shocks to improve the ride quality over the OEM shocks? Great question, and I'm pretty sure they say no. They actually didn't change the suspension anyway. They did some things and add some plates to drive the wheels down further into the ground. It's kind of this weird thing. They're going to be on the show in December, so we'll ask them specifically what's done. But I can tell they didn't change any of the shocks. They are all OEM. We've got the firmest sumo spring bumpers on the back, two shocks, none up front, and but yeah, same shocks that come on the Ram ProMaster 3500. Great question. So here's M. Carl. I have a Heimer Active 2.0. As many know, the EcoTrek system provided by Heimer has had many problems and issues. Has Volta been retrofitting into an existing RV like the Heimer? Volta does not, but there are a couple of outfitters in the across the country. One is in near Holland, Michigan. I don't know the name of them off the top of your head. You better get your checkbook out because it wouldn't be cheap, but it can be done. And retrofitting kind of depends on where things would fit. So it'd be a complex thing. What I would recommend is going to Volta's website. They do list those outfitters on the Volta website. So it's Volta Power Systems. Just Google search it. It pops right up. And good question. How's your Heimer Active? That was where I was so inspired by the Russos and their Heimer Active. That's where my whole thing started. All right, so let me talk about the news of the week. Normally do that at the bottom of the hour, or about this time, right? 45 after? I'm all over the place today. I'm going too fast. That's my problem. Hey, join the journey. I posted a really cool taco place on Instagram last night. If you haven't seen that, you want to check that out. Subscribe to our newsletter. We're still doing that. And check out my website on a regular basis, please. Here's the RV News headline. Check this out. Oh my gosh, you think my wrap is kind of cool and sexy. Look at this bad boy. Volta, powered with Grand Design, which is a Winnebago brand, by the way. Not only did they wrap a Ram, I think it's a 3500, they wrapped a fifth wheel. Look at that thing. What do you think that cost? And I initially proposed wrapping my van with the Volta logos kind of like this, and they said no. And I'm glad they did, because that's what that thing is meant for. Here is the news headline. Volta is now powering off-grid toy hauler by Grand Design. And look at these specs, ladies and gentlemen. OMG. 18,000 watts of stored energy compared to my 8,000. So almost 3 times as much. It has a 9,000 watt alternator that's on the Ram to charge that bad boy. Look at that solar array. Holy cow. As you know, those big fifth wheels have like 3 air conditioners on top, right? Because they're air conditioning about 1,000 square feet inside of that thing. On a van on a van equipped with a lithium, solar's kind of irrelevant. The math just doesn't make sense. On this thing, though, a 2,200 watt solar array, wow, you could actually charge your system and run your AC. That's pretty stellar. I'm really impressed by that. And they're going to be taking orders, Grand Design is, at the Tampa, Florida RV Super Show, which starts January 19. of 2022. And we are already making plans for that super show. We're going to be there. We're going to be in attendance. We're going to be there with Volta and Winnebago. It's going to be OMG all over again. It's going to be our third year going. If you want to be in some beautiful, endless summer Florida weather, come join us at the Tampa Super Show. Hopefully, we have no masks necessary this time. Masks were required last year. How about that for some news, though, huh? So this is what's cool with Volta. They keep applying their solution in different places for different uses. And if you think about the big Class A guys and the big Class B towables, fifth wheels, they are forced almost to run shore power to shore power. You can run your generator, yeah, but we know what that's like. So this actually gives those people, for the first time, off-grid freedom that I and Roger and Jane and Mason Mike and Spookhead Steve and a bunch of you know what that feels like. These big rigs, for the first time, are having the same experiences, and I got to tell you, I'm really excited for Volta. I'm just so proud to be partnered up with them. They're just a class act. What do you think? Is that kind of cool? So this is, I think, on my website. I think I've already posted this. If not, I'll do it right after the show. Let's look at some more questions here. I can't believe how fast this hour goes. So Linda in Texas. So we're going to be in Texas literally at the end of next week. I am so excited to get back to Texas. Rainy coastal Texas. And after I do the Arlington area, we're going to go down to Austin, and then we're going to go down to Galveston, and then across kind of through Louisiana and up into Alabama. I'm hoping to go see Storyteller. We're trying to work that right now. So I'm just excited to get to Texas is the bottom line. And slow down. I've been traveling way too fast. Yeah, and it's a good point. So, okay, Philly. Hello from Philly. Oh, that's cool. Is a ProMaster a good chassis for longevity? We've had Ford trucks. We've had we've got a Nissan truck. We've got the chassis Ram. I really like the simplicity of the Ram chassis. We've got a Sprinter. Kyle's rigs on a Sprinter. It's just so complex. All these safety features. We've got Mercedes cars. We've got a Hyundai. That thing is bulletproof. Hyundai Genesis. I've had really good luck. There's always a horror story, always on the internet, loud and clear. But I would buy a Ford in a minute. I would buy a ProMaster in a minute. I would buy a Harley in a minute. And why? Just because we've had such good luck. We've had awesome luck with Fords, all flavors of cars over the years. So for me, the chassis has been a home run. I just love the simplicity of it. Gasoline, six-cylinder, and it's pulling a lot of weight every single day. And it's built to be a handyman van, right? But a handyman van isn't loaded down with 8,600 pounds of me, my grilled meat, my toilet waste, my tanks, all this stuff, right? All this cabinetry, Volta systems. So I think it's performing really well. I'd be curious how many. I've talked to a few folks actually that have a ProMaster Winnebago build out Travados, and they've done really, really well, and with theirs as well. Horror story in every group, though, right? Um, let's see. Michigan be dopey. Van Liberty, how you liking your van, man? I think you just picked up your embassy last week, right? I love Michigan. I'll be honest. Super weird thing. The state parks, you can't have alcohol in state parks. I guess search my van. Again, that's to keep the boneheads out, I guess. I don't know. Here at the state park, I got scolded because my wheels were off the pavement onto the gravel, literally by 3 inches. And the ranger stopped by and said, "Hey, we need all the wheels on the pavement, sir." I'm like, "Okay." I was trying to keep my table in the shade without having to extend my awning because it was really windy here for a few hours. So okay, it's so funny. Um, So this is an interesting question. So Jake here wants to know, in those areas, if you're driving through, could you sleep in the day and drive through them in the night? For sure. If you're just trying to get some mileage behind it, yeah. I personally do not like driving at night. A couple reasons. I am scared to death of hitting an animal at dusk. That's one reason I have a brush guard in my front. The second thing is you can't see the scenery around you. What if you were driving through and this was behind you and you never even knew that was what you were driving by? I don't want to miss a minute of nature driving at night. The second thing is you just can't see far enough down the road. It's I don't like driving at night. I avoid it at all costs. What I do is, and this might be a hot tip for you ProMaster owners on your Travados is I will get up early in the morning, but I will. Oops, let me shift gears. My iPad's going to go juice. But I will. I've discovered this because the headlights are really high up on the ProMaster, and it really does a good job illuminating way down the road, but doesn't do a good job illuminating in front of the van. So when I'm driving in the dark, I turn my fog lights on. Have you tried that? That is a really good way to see what's really in front of the van. Illuminates the roadway, potholes, that kind of stuff. The markings on the pavement really shine brightly. So if you're driving in dark, you haven't tried turning on your fog lights, try that with your low beams on, and I think you will see what a difference that is. But yeah, if you're just trying to get through someplace, clearly, and probably camp at a crash at Cracker Barrel if you need to, or many of the rest stops are friendly for a few hours. You can't camp, but you can stay for many hours. I've done that many times and have had no issues all hours of the day and night. Good question. So Mason Mike, this is kind of funny. So did you check out the Goldfield Mining Ghost Town out there yet? I did spend some time there yesterday, and I am this close to trying to decide, do I stay there tomorrow night or not? It's a really cool, historic, almost authentic, I would say, ghost town. They've kind of made it into a little bit of a tourist trap, but really cool. I did have a beer there last night in the saloon. I absolutely love it. I got to come back, and if I don't do a video this time, we got to do it. I'm really trying to up my video game. I'm so far behind because I've been so busy with Embassy and Volta. More about that later, but yeah, I did check it out. Super cool place, and there's no charge to get in. I was really surprised. And the beers I had, Rodeo Cold was the beer they've served. I'm like, that's pretty cool. Who doesn't like rodeos? All right, let me see what we got going over here. So here's my viewer recommendation of the week. We got some more good questions. If we have to go a little long tonight, I can do that because I hogged 20 minutes talking about the van being 3 years old. What went bad, what went well. Let me show you this. This is my recommendation of the week, and that's to come stay at Lost Dutchman State Park. Yes, pretty crazy. The inset there is the picture of the campgrounds I would recommend. There's three loops. This is the main campground. You can see that the numbers are in the single, I'm sorry, the double digits. And why am I recommending this one over the one that I'm currently in? And the other one is dry camping and tent, which is over almost where the residential area is, where the houses are. So I don't want the lights. So I'm recommending the main campground. These are the campsites. I think Luke and I stayed in. Oh gosh, I think it was 39 was one of them. Anyway, highly recommend this, even just for a couple of days. They do have some sites available that are not available online. You just show up while the ranger station is open, and it's a first come first serve. That's the way I got in here on Sunday night. You really got to come check this place out. It's just great. And then they have all these activities that you can do too. So if you haven't been here, just Google Lost Dutchman State Park, Arizona. Pops right up. Make a reservation online. Super, super easy. Pick your campsite. The blue dots here indicate availability. And I snapped that picture, I think, just a day or two ago. So again, if you're going through the Phoenix area, it's just so amazing. And the starlight, I'm telling you, is over the top. You can almost just see wisps of the Milky Way. Phoenix is just a little too close, but you can see the brighter parts of the Milky Way arm there. So that's what that is. That's my recommendation to you. If you have a recommendation for me and the audience, GSLL viewer recommendation is the email address. I know you have email up and running in front of you right now. You've got to have a recommendation for the audience. I don't know everything. What we do is we learn, we share, you decide, and please send me a recommendation there. What we have next? Yep, did that. Let's look at a few more of these. Oh, I got a great song of the week. Let me get a few more questions in. And Van Life Magic happened again on Friday. And a couple of you, if you're in the audience tonight, were with me. It's pretty amazing. Let's see. You enjoying the show? Give it a thumb up. If you learned anything, should appreciate that. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do that. These look like some familiar names in here. And if you're new, join the group. Look at the number of folks in here tonight. Such a great audience. Ooh, the bugs are starting to come. One great thing about the time of year in Arizona is there's really so few bugs. They got this huge light here, so they're going like, ooh, that's kind of exciting. But there has really been so few bugs. It's just astounding. Um, Yeah, so here's Beyond Intention. They have a YouTube channel and a really awesome Instagram channel. If you haven't hit them up, they're super active on Instagram. They have an amazing cat. Um, Benny, Panther cat, right? Panther. Anyway, Miami area is rough for van life. Very hot boondocking options, limited campsites, expensive. Now the truck stops are RV friendly, no dump sites. Yeah, that's good to know. One thing we did as part of this program a while back, somebody asked about is a Good Sam membership worth it? And Camping Worlds, if you're a Good Sam member, you can dump at a Camping World. And Camping Worlds RV dealer lots are everywhere. So if you haven't searched that out lately, do that. And they say they love their K02s, just great tires, right? Um, so Mason Mike wants to know, was a cylinder rebuild you had done covered with the Ram warranty? Yes, on the original by literally 1,000 miles. It was at 49,000 miles. It comes with a 50,000 mile powertrain warranty. I did immediately buy an unlimited mileage 2 year um, powertrain warranty through Ram as part of that because I was a little concerned that that happened so early. I've had no problem since. I maybe have a miracle healing Ram ProMaster. I don't know. But yeah, that was covered. It was a fairly expensive, I'm guessing. Um, so Brenda's got a good question here. Brenda, at what temp do you use your tank heaters? Curious question. I've only used them a few times. You need to be plugged into shore power. And they work, I would say, okay to keep it from freezing. But if it's going to be in the mid 20s for an extended period of time, I'm talking like overnight, I would turn those bad boys on. That is something you do not want to experiment with. I mean, if it's going to be 32 and it's 11 o'clock and it's going to be 32 and it's going to warm up to 38 by 4 a.m. or 6 a.m., I think you're fine. But if it's in the high to mid 20s, I'd be turning those things on because the plastic, you just don't want to give it a chance. And I'm a fair weather camper. I don't camp in the extremes, hot or cold. So I've never winterized my vehicle. I've only had the tank heaters on a couple of times because I don't want to be in that weather. I don't think Lily, the name of my van, wants to be in that weather either. Um, so I think it's an option still, which is kind of interesting. I probably would not buy that option, knowing how I RV now. But when I bought it, I just wanted everything. It's a nice backup, I guess. But if it's going to be in the 20s for a week, I am so out of there. It's just not worth it for my body or uh, not worth it to me. So Van Liberty's got an interesting point here. So my advice for your transmission fluids is not to do a flush, do a drain and fill. Yeah, terminology, right? So that's what they would do. Valvoline will do one for I can't remember the dollars, but you can do it while you wait. It's a drain and fill. But when I get to home base for sure, maybe even before then, I'm just going to take the chassis and have just do a really thorough walkthrough of everything just to be sure. But thank you for that vocabulary problem. Um, Looking for some questions. If we go a little long, is that okay, everybody? Uh, Let me give you my Alaska in the house. That doesn't happen very often. Hey Todd. Oh Todd, we know Todd. Um, Donna's got to go. Okay. No problem. Our Van Panther. That's what it was. That's so funny. Great cat. Instagram cat. So let me share this with you. So this is my song of the week. My recommendation. And why is Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen and Adam Lambert on my recommendation list? And again, this isn't about how great of a music player I am. Please send in your recommendations. A pet pick, song, and a recommendation, GSLL, viewer recommendation at gmail.com. Why this is on here tonight is because I use an app called Bands in Town, BANDS in Town, Bands in Town. The iPad app is absolutely spectacular. I wish Apple Music would buy them and incorporate. What I did when I was in Vegas, I had one free night and I opened up Bands in Town. I hit my location, and the first thing that served up was Adam Lambert in concert at the Venetian. It was the second to last night. It was Halloween Eve. He had tickets available, $70, kind of up in the bleachers. It was the Venetian, one of the concert venues, really small, really intimate. It probably only held maybe 1,000, 1,500 people. And that's the first time we saw Adam in Chicago in a similar venue, really small, really intimate. We were just 100 yards, if not even that. Good Lord, I don't know, very very close to the stage. Last time we saw him, he was with Queen in Cleveland singing, and it's giving me goosebumps right now. If you haven't heard him doing Queen songs with Queen playing the drums and the guitar and singing along, you need to do yourself a favor. Those guys have no reason to be doing this except for the love of music and the love of their fans. Adam is a truly a tremendous artist. He didn't win the American Idol thing, right? How'd that work out for the winner? Who was he even? I don't know. But this guy is an amazing artist, and it was truly a magic evening. We had Arkansas Tracy. He didn't have his vaccine card, so he couldn't get in. He had to have vaccine proof of and a mask. And but Mike and Janice joined me, and Janice loves Adam Ambert, and the whole crowd. I was blown away by the demographic. I think it thought it'd be a bunch of young folks, and it was a bunch of every age folks, as was the Queen concert. So go to this album specifically. It's Adam and Queen live across. There's probably a dozen and a half cities when they did their tour. Unfortunately, Cleveland wasn't in there. Dallas was though. So give this a listen to, and it will bring back memories. So many great anthems brought live from Queen, right? I just love music. And now with things open up, when I land in towns, I open up that app. That would be a recommendation for you. Bands in Town. It's free. You can buy tickets right through there, but check out music things going on in your environment. I go to live shows now at a last minute notice. I only need one ticket, and I can get in usually. And I just love live music, and it's just the greatest thing. This light is actually working better now, right? I can't believe it's 2,500 lumens. Whoa. So thank you, light, for doing its job. What a great show tonight. Give it a thumb up if you're enjoying this. And here's our pet pick of the night. I actually didn't have any new pet picks, so we're putting in silhouettes. I know you got pets out there, so send your pet name, your pet pick. What kind of talent does your pet have? Does it like being in the RV? What kind of RV do you have? And then your name and where you might be watching from. That would be really fun. We just love sharing pet picks. We are committed to getting a cat when we get back to home base Florida, which is going to be mid-December. Staying through the Super Show in Tampa in January. I've got some wacky roundups and campouts planned that we'll announce probably early next month. Here's a hot tip. I'm going to invite you to my house in Florida. Wouldn't that be great? And then we're scooting off in February with a cat. So we got to give the cat a little time to kind of warm up to the whole idea. So that's why we're waiting. But I'm so excited to get a cat. Yeah, here's Maureen saying Adam's such a super talent. Hi from BC, British Columbia. God, I can't wait to get back to British Columbia. Just so great. One last little thanks, Maureen, for that. I really do appreciate that. Thanks for being there. British Columbia is so great. Used to live in Seattle, and back in the '90s and the early 2000s, going up. Well, we left in 2003, but in the '90s for sure, going up to Vancouver was just a highlight. Did it one or two times a year. Such a great city. Such a great city. Um, One of the things that it's kind of giving me a chill just thinking about it, talking about Adam Lambert, he's probably got a really hard job because people expect him to be Freddie Mercury, right? Who has got one of the greatest voices ever. As does Adam. Adam, he's got this really amazing range. Um, when the concert started, it was about three songs in, and then he basically had the lights in the stadium turned on so he could see the crowd. And they had the stage, the stage, and then went way out into the audience. And he was trying to make a point that I am not Freddie Mercury. I am Adam Lambert. This is not karaoke. This is the way I do Queen. The real Queen is behind me. Give those guys a hand. I am just a singer doing the best I can to sing some of my favorite music for you. Oh my God, I'm going to start crying. And it was a real great icebreaker to keep people from thinking that's not how Freddie Mercury would have done it. And I thought it was just a genius move. I don't know if he did it at every concert. I'm assuming so. But just that little pivot, it put everybody at ease. He included some of his own songs. And it was a genius artistical move to stop the audience judging him on his ability to be Freddie Mercury, to reincarnate, right? It was really a genius move. I'll never, ever forget that. It's so great. So with that, we have had a great show tonight. I just really appreciate it. Each and every one of you just bring great joy to my heart. I am so excited to meet some of you tomorrow. We're doing a camp out of Vanbury in Wilcox, Arizona in just a few days. Can't wait for that. Then again in Texas. And a week later, am I a glutton for punishment or a glutton for joy, I guess? But thank you. You drive me forward each and every day, and it's just such a pleasure to have you here. Look at this picture. Where is this from? Anybody know? Put this in the comments. If you've been to Prescott, Arizona, you know what this is. Let me zoom in here for you. This is not a movie set, ladies and gentlemen. This is Watson Lake. You can camp there, and that is your view. I am not kidding. I did it. It's so amazing. It's so great. So with that, we say thank you. Another What's Up Wednesday in the can, and we will see you next week. We got guests, Ron and Rhonda next week from the Coachman Nova. And just thank you. We'll see you. We got a van tour being posted here very shortly, an Echo, and a whole bunch of content coming your way. So thanks for your patience. We'll see you later. Good night. Have fun. Journey on.